What's up, good people? I'm just Major, here to talk to you about Walgreens and their tumultuous downfall that they've been going through pretty much the last 10 years. Walgreens has been around since 1901. They're an iconic drugstore brand here in America and have been so just over 100 years, right at 125 years pretty much. Well, 24 years, but almost 125 years here in America. And they've gone from their market cap in the summer of 2015 at $105.5 billion to now just over $9.5 billion in the spring of 2025. And for the most part, the downfall began when they did a partnership with a UK pharmacy company called Boots, and pretty much their brand is now Walgreens Boots Alliance, and their ticker symbol, if you're an investor and you looked at them on the stock market, the ticker symbol is WBA for Walgreens Boots Alliance, and that pretty much comes from the 2014 partnership that they did with a UK-based company called Boots. Now, they did a partnership in 2014. 2015, everything was gold. Summer of 2015, like I said, the market cap for Walgreens was $105.5 billion to now just $9.5 billion. Well, what happened? Not really sure, but Walgreens, pretty much like other brick and mortar companies, they started to feel the heat when Amazon came along and other companies that you can pretty much buy online. Not only does Walgreens sell prescriptions, of course, but they sell other things too, food and beverages, not necessarily a grocery store, but they'll sell snacks and drinks, and other things like that, first aid, all of that kind of stuff. Pretty much anything you can get at your local Kroger or Publix, grocery stores. But like I say, in 2014, they did a partnership with UK-based company called Boots, and then the downfall started from there. And then just this year, the Department of Justice brought a lawsuit against them, alleging that Walgreens pretty much got into the inappropriate selling of opioids. How that inappropriate selling came about, I don't know. How the allegations came about, I don't know. But I'm guessing, since a lot of kids can or have been pretty much trying to get a hold of opioids for drugs and getting high and things of that nature, some products in these grocery stores and drugstores, you have to show an ID saying that you're 18 or 21 years of age in order to buy it. So maybe, just maybe, they were, selling something to underage kids or something. I don't know. I'm just speculating there, but that was one of the things. So after that allegation and that lawsuit came out, Walgreens this year suspended their first quarter dividends. Now, as an investor, if you got a stock that goes from $100 to just over $10, right at $11, because last I checked, their stock price is like $11.15. Well, it's a buy if they plan on staying in the stock market, and as an investor, you may want the dividends. But once you suspend those dividends, investors don't know when those dividends are coming back. So you're kind of disinteresting investors from looking at Walgreens as an investment from that standpoint. And so now Sycamore Partners has been doing talks with Walgreens since December of last year about taking them off the stock market. So with the nosedive that their stock price is done, their market cap is done, so they could have been facing delisting at one point. I'm not sure, but Sycamore Partners has actually done this before, where they bought a company that's been on the stock market, been public, and taken them private by taking them off the stock market. One such company has been Staples, and that was 2017. And then they pretty much bought Staples. Remember Staples, the easy button? So pretty much bought Staples and split them up into 3 different sectors and started selling off the company and brands like that. Now, there are some Staples still around, but they're few and far between for sure. Now, Walgreens in Georgia and Metro Atlanta area are closing some stores. Two in particular, one on Piedmont, Midtown downtown area, and then another one on Peachtree, Midtown downtown area. Those two in Metro Atlanta, well, those two are actually in the heart of Atlanta. They'll be closing, but this particular one, so far, is safe. But if you look around, you can see all the traffic that it gets in. This is a early Sunday afternoon, so this is really a pretty busy area. You got a lot of traffic in this area. You got a couple of restaurants, a couple of eateries, and you have a couple of apartment complexes. So this particular Walgreens gets a lot of foot traffic in there, but some other ones not so much. So yeah, Walgreens having a tumultuous time, facing a lot of things. But also one of the things that they tried to do as a brand, as a company, to engage more customers is to bring on or introduce new products. New products isn't necessarily the way to go if you're a struggling company. You bring it on new products, you just bring on more products for people not to buy. So they brought on new products, and then those new products had a challenge. Of course, they were failing, and Walgreens is pretty much blaming that challenge on consumer spending decreasing and inflation. So yeah, and Walgreens now in the last 10 years has pretty much they've closed nearly 2,000 locations, and they're looking to close nearly another 500 locations in the next few years. So I don't know, guys. Walgreens could be pretty much disappearing for the most part. Not sure what they're going to do as a brand. There are some stores, still around. Like I said, Sycamore Partners has been in talks with Walgreens since December of last year. As a matter of fact, those plans should be finalizing by the end of this month, if they haven't finalized already. And by those finalizing, Sycamore Partners will end up owning all of the Walgreens Boots Alliance operations here in the U.S. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's Walgreens, and hopefully Walgreens can do something to fix it, and we'll see how it goes. I'm just amazing, man. Y'all have a good one.